What we're going to do now is introduce you to Parliament UK. We couldn't get Big Ben in the building, so we've got two of you from the PMO. So we've got Algie joining us, who is I've got this from LinkedIn, Algie, so you might have been doing wonderful things, but it's Head of Portfolio Delivery Support. Yeah, got that. And Carol, who is the Head of Digital PMO. I'd just like to do a quick special mention to Carol, please, because she has been amazing over the last couple of years. She is such a passionate PMO person. She has been working so hard with Eileen on not only doing the edits around the competency framework, where we pull us out for goodness knows how long trying to do that, and she spent a lot of time helping to develop the qualifications as well, so much so that they became known collectively as SHER. Carol Hindley, CH, Eileen Roden, ER. So together they created Hope by SHER. A little karaoke number in the making, if ever there was one. But would like to welcome up Algie and Carol. Together they've been focused on developing PMO talent across Parliament UK, along with some other colleagues, of course, over the last few years. They are both incredibly passionate about PMO and what it is they're doing over there. So please do welcome Algie and Carol. If I do that, you can kind of you can move in and out, it'll catch you.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Lindsay. Good evening, everybody. Really happy to be here. Really happy. Can't tell you how happy I am to see these launched. I've done these for the last couple of years. Myself and Algie have come along just to let you know what we've been doing with them, really, to be perfectly honest, in our place of work, which just happens to be the Houses of Parliament. So, Algie, do you want to just start us off?
Yeah.
As a brief context.
Thank you very much. My name is Algie Asen, and I'm the Head of Portfolio Delivery Support, but I also look after the project delivery profession in UK Parliament. So we are very passionate and obsessed with community building, bringing together our community of project delivery and PMO professionals in Parliament. So in terms of PMO, we have around 100 PMO professionals supporting the different projects, programs, change initiatives ranging from construction, digital, and strategic people initiatives, which is great. So we're very obsessed about community building, and personal professional development is something that we are passionate about, and we're here to share our story with you in terms of the fantastic work that we do to help develop our PMO professionals in Parliament. Over to you, Carol.
Thank you. So, for me, it all started when I joined Parliament about 6 years ago. I went as a contractor to start off with. I was really fascinated by all the agile stuff that they were doing in the digital arena. And then it just so then happened that I was then asked and entrusted with, to lead the digital PMO. And when I started talking to all the individual members of the PMO, I was absolutely quite mortified because every single one of them had a personal objective to get out of the PMO. And I was like, why on earth would you have these personal objectives? And I'd sit down with each of them and they were like, yeah, I want to be a project manager, yeah, I want to be a business analyst. And I'm like, what? Why? And it was absolutely, do not realise, people, that PMO can be a career. It can be a, professionally fulfilling career in its own right. And so then I started on a journey to try and change the hearts and minds of everybody that you don't want to go into the PMO just so that you can then get out of it. And so we started the concept of a PPO wingman. So used an analogy about, PMO is not just can you come and do our minutes to our board, please, or can you come and do the reporting? In our organisation as well, financial management is huge. So they are a little bit of an army of project accountants. And so it was more around what we would like you to do, and I used the goose and the maverick analogy in terms of being the right-hand man, woman, person to your project manager, and being able to do that challenge, being able to do that nudging to them, rather than just the or can you do this, can you do that? So that this concept of a PPO wingman absolutely took flight. It got hold of their imaginations. They liked this idea that actually, PMO could be a career in its own right. PPO is our acronym, so it's a Project and Programme Officer, is the job title that we use for most of the members of the team. And these are the guys that go out and get embedded in the projects and programmes, and they work closely and alongside with the project managers, the programme managers and the teams to underpin that successful delivery. So it was very much around, education of those people, inspiring those people that this could be a fulfilling career for them, and then also an element of educating the project managers, etc., that this is what PPOs could do for you, as opposed, because I ended up in, I can't remember how many washing machine cycle conversations, is what I used to call them. I'd go and starting out a project or a program, and they're like, we want a PPO. It's like, okay, what do you want a PPO to do? I don't know, what can a PPO do? Well, a PPO can do anything for you. What would you like them to do? So that is where then the concept of the service catalogue came around and came so important for us. And then the members of the team loved that idea and that concept, because then it gave them a bit of foundation, and they weren't then just the dog's body of the team. They had what it was that they could do defined for them. People started understanding and realising that, and this is where they can add the value to the projects and programmes, and they can actually play their part in successful delivery of those projects and programmes. So we had our concept of the PPO wingman. We knew that we started wanting to do the service catalogue, etc. And then it was like, but how do we make sure that everybody's got that same level of understanding, they've got that same technical expertise, that same knowledge to be able to build on, so that our services can be of a high quality and consistent across our projects and programmes. Our people can then feel as though they're learning stuff and progress. And also, look, see, this is me menopause sticking in my brains that I'm dead now. The organisation as well would get that benefit and that value, so that we grew as a team in the organisation, and we were recognised for offering those opportunities to people. We were recognised as a caring community team, and we were put forward as exemplars. And then what we found is that attracted people to the PMO. So we then ended up with people from the service desk wanted to come and work in the PMO. People out of the admin teams wanted to come and work in the PMO. So what we did is we looked at what was available in terms of the qualifications, etc., across the in the industry. At the time, we were looking at things like the PPO support, P30, AI PMO, and this was all sort of like before House of PMO Essentials came on board. And I literally threw the syllabuses out to the team, and I said to them, you know what we're trying to do? We know what we're trying to do in terms of service catalogue, PPO wingman, etc. Which out of these qualifications floats your boat? Which ones do you want to do? So they made a choice at the time. At the time, they went with AI PMO, because that was very service catalogue orientated and stuff, and that's what we wanted to do. And so we bought an in-house trainer. Eileen came, spent a week with us in London, and the team just infused. It was like light bulb moments going off, and that's absolutely what I wanted them to have. And so what we then did is anybody else that joined the team then went on a public course, so that then they would have the same sort of level. I had some people in the team that I've been there X amount of years. I'm happy with my job. I like coming in. I like the project teams. I don't really want to aspire to be a PMO director. Thank you very much. And I was like, but if you can do it for us, because we want that fundamental foundation level across the team. And they were like, yeah, no, I could buy into that, and I'll be doing that as well. So that was absolutely fantastic in that regard. And then what's happened, the pandemic, etc., so forth, and then with the advent of the House of PMO Essentials, they've now decided that these are the areas that we want to go to, because it gives us then those technical expertise, those technical competencies that me as an individual can do, and I can use that then with my competency framework, because we've, as Parliament, we've become a corporate member of House of PMO, so we've got the access to the competency framework. we've said to all of the members of the PMO across the community, we would like you all to do the self-assessments, please. We haven't mandated it, so we haven't got 100% coverage, but most people, most people, and Algie's been a little bit more successful in his area than I have, but that's fine about it. They all understand and they all appreciate that area, and they can see it, and there's either that they're doing it for themselves as an individual in terms of their personal professional development, and the whole idea that they actually do now love PMO and they want PMO as a career, or they can see the benefit for the team and being able to get that standard and quality for our service catalogue, and then the ePMO, because we have an ePMO as well, they can then see those benefits to Parliament and the way that we were then able to convince senior management about the benefits of corporate membership, etc. So we've got various bits and bobs there. What I've done around the competency framework and around the fundamental training is a learning catalogue. So I've also added what else we've got across Parliament that can help move up those stages. So when you're doing your competency assessment, when you're identifying what level you are, the key question that we usually get back is, well, but then how do I get from that level to the next level? And so what I've put together is a little bit of a learning catalogue that says, on our learning management system in Parliament, we've got this on risk management, because the Parliament's quite big on risk management, etc. There's also, we've got LinkedIn learning, corporate membership as well. So there's going to be developing some pathways, PMO pathways there, because one of the things that we're talking about now is sort of like T-shaped professionals, so that we've all got that common core services of reporting, financial management, secretariat, etc. But then they can decide if they want to do a specialism. So if they decided that they want to be a risk specialist, what can they then go on and do in terms of, well, we can do the in-house Parliament training, we can go on and do the management of risk, etc. so forth if you so wish to. So that's what we've done. With Algie's help, we've built up the network of PMO. We've got what we call a cross-Parliament PMO guild. So once a quarter, all of the PMOs, it's a little bit how many PMOs can fit in a room, all get together. We're fortunate that we've got several across Parliament, and we all get together, we share what we're doing. Surprising how similar it is. We all have a gripe about the similar challenges, etc. and so forth that we face across our PMOs. But what we're starting to see is the relationships being fostered, and then now when there is opportunities in the other PMOs, we're fertilising people around those groups. So members of the digital PMO have gone and joined the ePMO and then thankfully come back, but they've gone up a couple of grades in terms of what they've been doing. People from digital have gone to the construction PMO and vice versa. So we're starting to absolutely reap the benefits as an organisation in terms of the sorts of knowledge and expertise that our team are building. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the community?
Yeah, thank you. So one of the challenges that we had in Parliament is selling the story of a PMO. What does a PMO team do? What is it? What is the value to the organisation? Which is why we set up a community of PMO practitioners to help address that, to engage with different teams, and to sell our story and to get buy-in and support from different teams, knowing the value of a great PMO. Whether you're a strategic PMO, a managing PMO, or a progressive PMO, it's about selling that story to Parliament. So we've set up a community of 100 PMO professionals. We meet on a regular basis, but we also introduce learning and development initiatives based on the self-assessment, PMO competency self-assessment that we've done, but also learning lessons from other organizations. So we've introduced, mentoring, apprenticeships, buddying, networking, and different events to bring together our community of PMO practitioners in Parliament. One of the things that really worked for us in terms of that learning and development is also introducing formal and informal, secondments to get that formal and informal secondments to get that additional knowledge, expertise that they'll be able to learn from different teams within the organization, which is great, and it's working really well. There's a lot of challenges that we are facing, but I think the good thing is, we're sharing resources as well. We talk to each other, and we're always on the lookout for what's new innovative, and not just innovative, but something that will make things life easier for our PMO teams in Parliament. So one of the things that we've done is to provide our PMO professionals with the tools and resources to help them with their jobs. So the first one is we've got our project management database, knowledge base, which we use in the digital PMO. So it's a tool to help them do their roles as PMO practitioners. In the construction world, we also have the Project Delivery Handbook, which provides guidance on how we deliver construction projects in Parliament from start to finish. We've also got the SharePoint site where we feature guidance, tools, information, but also things that matter to our PMO professionals, such as training and development, and also health and well-being. So as a PMO practitioner, it can be very stressful. You are faced with different challenges, which is why we put together a health and well-being tool for our PMO colleagues within the organization. And Carol will be able to talk to you about the other initiatives that we are doing to help develop our PMO practitioners in Parliament.
Mm-hmm. So, what else have we got? So we're doing the professional membership. We've introduced a concept in the digital PMO about the baseline training. So what we're now saying is that anybody that is in that sort of like PPO role, if you've been in the PPO role in your first 12 months, we will provide you with the PMO administrator type training. So the feedback that I got from the team when we did some of that training was that it absolutely helps for those that are new to the project and programme environment, understanding that concept and understanding how that works. We do still have, picking up on John's point earlier though, that we do still have secretariat. That's still quite a big role for us in our PMO. So we do still need to do that. And particularly at Parliament, it could be anything from, documenting your actions and your decisions right up to, we're Parliament, we need very gold-plated minutes and boards and agendas, please. And so we're trying to cover that spectrum there. And then once they've been in that role for the second year, what we're going to be looking to do is then provide that PMO analyst sort of like training to take them that step up and be able to start going into those specialisms that they want in terms of supporting their project managers and program managers. And one of the things that we're also starting to now look at is apprenticeships. So we've got some very good PM apprenticeships, but I want to start looking at what there is for the PMO. And in particular, one of the things that we're looking at is like the project data apprenticeships, those sorts of arenas there. It's not all plain sailing, I have to be honest. I do have lots of questions from the team in terms of, am I a PMO administrator or am I a PMO analyst? To be perfectly honest, our role of PPO is a little bit of a mix of both. And this is what I'm trying to do with them. And so when they do the self-assessment, the competency framework, because there is a couple of different ways of doing the self-assessment, it's like, well, do I pick a role or do I just do the generic competency assessment? I generally try and get them to do the generic one and just pick which of the competencies they're interested in and which is the most applicable to the roles that they're doing. We've also got in our PMO some more specialist roles. So we have business case manager, we've got a portfolio analyst, we have a benefits manager, etc. And they're very much like, well, how do I use the competency framework for me? And how do those four roles relate to my roles? So we're still working our way through that at the moment in terms of those specialists and those niche roles. And then also, how do they then look to, if they're interested in going into that PMO management type role and looking to become like heads of profession. So one of the things that we're doing in the digital PMO at the moment is looking at succession planning and looking at how do we prepare people to be moving into all of those roles. But as we know the world over, recruitment and retention is a massive, massive challenge at the moment. We started off, we had a really good sort of like run to start off with, didn't we, with the launch of the competency framework, etc. We have been losing staff as well, either because they've been going on to other PMOs, etc. There are still the odd ones that will insist on going and being a project manager or a BA, but hey ho. But what we've got is that we've got a really good reputation then for that career progression. It's difficult because inevitably every 6 months we end up having to do a recruitment round, and that does put pressure on the team that remains in terms of training people up. But at least with the competency framework and the training that we've got more of a standard way of doing that with people, and it's not so much of pressure. Yes, they still have to learn the intricacies and the subtleties of doing it in Parliament and the way that we do it, but we've got a good foundation to be able to do that. And I find that then is a selling point in interviews, because when we are doing the interviews, a lot of the questions that we get asked are, well, what are the opportunities for development? What learning and development do you do? So it's surprising how often that we get offered that. So all in all, I would definitely say that we're starting to reap the benefits. One of the things that we're struggling with is the measurement. So if anybody's got any ideas about how you sort of like measure the success of all of this, apart from the anecdotal and the figures of people moving between the PMOs, I would be more than happy to chat with you afterwards about that, to pick your brains in terms of how we can do that. So for us, we're looking to be offering our next sort of like PMO analyst course, and I know conversations like that and how we make that happen. So I think that's it really, to be fair, from us.
Yeah.
And have you got any questions?
Well, I'll tell you what, we can ask you some questions with some canapé and drink in hand
Very shortly, so thank you very much.